Hey everyone, welcome to SIGGRAPH 2017. My name is Todd Previs. I'm a product manager at Google on Google Cloud Platform. And I'm here to talk for a little bit about our relationship with the Foundry, with their Elara product, which is currently running on Google Cloud Platform, and to talk a little bit about some of the things that we offer as an infrastructure provider. So, what is Google Cloud Platform? It is the same infrastructure that powers Google. So when you think about 7 products with over 1 billion users, things like ads and search, and the reliability and quality that you come to expect from Google is now available as part of a public cloud platform to any of you. And we've actually been heavily invested in the media entertainment space, especially in the visual effects and animation space over the last 3 or 4 years. You can see on the rendering side, we have a who's who of visual effects animation studios. So people who are creating content for feature film, for advertising, for television, for virtual reality, and for VR. And one of our most recent successes is MPC, which used Google Cloud Platform to render a portion of The Jungle Book. And this film won the Best Oscar for visual effects this past year, and it was over 5.5 million core hours put through on Google Cloud Platform and over 1.5 million tasks. So it's one of many, many successes we are seeing now with rendering customers on Google Cloud Platform, and we're really happy about this. So again, just want to talk a little bit about the infrastructure that we provide on Google Cloud Platform. So for doing rendering, we have different solutions. We have Zinc, which is a turnkey solution, but we also have our core infrastructure. And again, at the base of this core infrastructure is infinite scale. If you think about Google and the number of machines we have around the world, it certainly dwarfs any one rendering workload. So whether it's MPC running Jungle Book or another studio running a project, think of infinite compute. So as many frames as you have to render, we have VMs available for you. Security. So certainly putting your pre-release content on cloud is a major concern for a lot of studios. So we actually work with all of the 6 major Hollywood studios at this point, to the fact that we have compliance for all of them to put pre-release content on Google Cloud Platform. So we work very closely with folks like Disney and Warner Brothers and Paramount, and in turn work with our visual effects vendors, people like Framestore and MPC, who are using Google Cloud Platform for rendering. Network, obviously, it's a global scale network. We've laid the fiber, literally, across the ocean for Google's network. Billing, we have a per minute model. So again, going back to this idea of scale, whether you're running a compute instance for rendering or a remote workstation, you only pay for what you consume down to the minute. And this works really well when you've got 100 frames to render and you're rendering each one for 75 minutes. That's all you're ever paying for. And then we have a class of VMs that are both custom. So you can build your own VM specifically to whatever kind of compute workload you need. And we also have a class of machines called preemptible VMs. So these are essentially spare capacity machines that are 80% off the cost of a standard VM. So it's great for a fault-tolerant workload, again, like rendering. And partner ecosystem. So throughout all of our really focus on media entertainment over the last 4 years, we've spent time not only acquiring customers, but working very closely with companies like the Foundry and Autodesk and Maxon and SideFX to enable their software to run on Google Cloud Platform. So that's it for me. I'm going to turn it over to Mathieu, who's going to talk a little bit more about Elara.
Cool. The mic? Hey, thank you, Todd, and thanks to Google for the drinks and for being an excellent partner. So I'm Matt, and I'm the product manager for Elara. And Elara is a complete visual effects pipeline in the cloud. So Elara is all about giving an unfair advantage to freelancers, independent professionals, small studios, so that they can easily access the really sophisticated infrastructure, storage, and applications using the elasticity of the cloud. So with Elara, you can form a studio, create projects, and organize a team composed of people from anywhere around the world. You can collaborate around centralized storage. You have access to a wide variety of professional applications that run on powerful virtual workstations, and you can provision completely elastic render farms with as much power as you need to get your jobs done. So the cloud is actually a really big trend right now in visual effects, and we're seeing just an incredible variety of really awesome things that are helping visual effects professionals to be more efficient and get their work done a lot faster. There's several things that are really unique about Alara. Alara gives you complete control over your storage. It lets you run your applications on powerful workstations that exist in the cloud exactly when you need them. But you can also work from your desktop in a hybrid workflow, so you can combine the cloud and your desktop experience in a really flexible way. And it's a completely open platform that you can customize to suit exactly the needs of your particular studio. Alara is cloud agnostic. You can bring your storage from Dropbox, Google Drive, Amazon S3, Google Cloud, and when you attach your storage to Alara, you can mount it anywhere you choose and control the permissions and decide who gets to access what. And what's really great is you can disconnect your storage when your project is done and connect more storage when you start up a new project later on. Alara also gives you access to professional applications that run on really powerful GPU-enabled workstations in the cloud. And it gives you access to these applications without any complicated upfront licensing. And this just really better suits the way that folks bid on projects. What's great as well is you don't have all of the depreciation and capital costs that go with having a workstation sitting under your desk. And you can access these applications through a variety of means. You can be sitting at Starbucks with your laptop, having a latte and accessing your application through a browser, or you can have a multi-monitor setup with Wacom and audio using Teradici, just like the pros. And you also have complete control over the plugins and the application environment to suit your own customized pipeline. But you can also work from your desktop. Thanks to this nifty tool called Orbit, your desktop experience can connect to Alara and allows your desktop applications to access your Alara storage and all of the cloud rendering power that Alara brings to bear. And it's an open platform. Alara is about a lot more than just the Foundry suite of apps. We've got wonderful friendships with folks at Side Effects, 3D Equalizer, Redshift V-Ray, many more. Alara is really about giving access to all of the applications that professionals need to get work done. And it can connect with external tools, and all of the APIs are public, so you can customize it and get it to do exactly what you need. So Alara presently is in a early beta form. We're still working on a lot of the major features, and we're collaborating really closely with a small set of beta testers. And I'll be telling you more in a few minutes about exactly what we have planned and what's coming up. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what some of the folks have been doing with Alara. Our friends at Inverse Normal, especially, are really cool. So Inverse Normal is a small startup that has used Alara and the cloud to get their studio off the ground, do some incredible work, and they've done this with a completely unique and I think just a really revolutionary pipeline that I think is really exciting. And in order to give you guys a little bit more depth on that, it's my really great pleasure to introduce Arvind Song from Inverse Normal to give you all more details on that. So Arvind, take it away.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for the introduction. Hope everyone's having a really good SIGGRAPH 2017. So I decided to call this presentation Approaching a New Hybrid Cloud Workflow for the main reason that it felt like uncharted territory. It's a very new way of thinking, so hence the title. So who are we? Okay, we're Inverse Normal. We're a startup content creation studio, not just a post house. And the aim of Inverse Normal is to try and approach content creation from a very different perspective. Our slogan is, why think outside the box when you can inverse it? So we're trying to take that approach on everything. So we're really trying to focus on narrative and character, yet still provide a unique story-driven visuals. And to do this, we realized that we had to try and be the creative agency, the production company, and the post facility all under one roof, but with one unique pipeline. So, as I'm sure you guys are all aware, there's like a pipeline for film, one for commercials, one for TV, etc. But we're trying to consolidate it all onto one GPU-based pipeline. The idea being to reduce time and cost, but never to compromise on quality. And newer, more advanced technology is allowing us to do this. So from real-time Unreal Engine, which we do our previs in, to GPU rendering in Redshift primarily, and cloud-based workflows like Alara. This is our combined experience of the team working in Inverse Normal. So we've got a lot of experience in the industry, and so we've seen where pipelines succeed and where pipelines fail. And we're trying to, really trying to figure out a really good path as to how we can get a good, pipeline up and running efficiently. So why Alara? Okay, so for us, the main reasons were the ability to have a core team of people located anywhere, but yet still collaborate with talent, artists, and Inverse Normal staff all over the world. Which is just like, that was just a great opportunity to try that out. Access to the entire, award-winning Foundry product suite, which is an absolute bonus. And also, the timing was right. We saw Matt's video on Alara a while ago, and we got in contact, and we pitched our studio idea, and the two just kind of gelled really well. And I think technology has caught up, internet speeds, internet connections, things like that, and cloud storage access. So it's kind of all culminated at the right time to allow us to try Alara out for VFX. So how Alara works for us? Okay, so the initial aim for us for Inverse Normal was basically we were just trying to test our pipeline out. We thought, okay, let's really make this as rigorous as possible. So our deadline was very tight. We only had access to Alara at the beginning of July. So after the first week of kind of configurations and storage setup and a little bit of bug fixing, because it's in beta at the moment, we were ready to go. So we gave ourselves 1 week for one shot, and then the plan was 1 week for the second shot, but that ran over. So we only had a few days for the second shot, one at 2K, one at 4K, just to run it through the Alara pipeline and just to see if it would, if it would handle everything. The real test being if we wanted to see if Alara could handle working remotely with different artists with efficiency, reliability, and ease. That was the main thing that we really wanted to focus on. So for the 2 weeks in the middle of July, we literally had only 3 to 4 people working on these 2 shots, all remotely, one full-time, and the other guys were working on it part-time, which gives you an idea of how good that kind of Alara workflow helped with all of that. So once we had the Google Cloud Storage set up, our files were accessible between all apps via the Cloud Bucket and all the artists that were working on it. You get to choose for your organization, you get to choose which artist goes onto which project. So that's how files can stay secure. If you don't want one artist working on a particular project, you just don't add them in. And so it was great for that. This is a screenshot of the Alara page. So here's your storage and your organization and your projects on the left-hand side. And these are the selection of the apps. And the ones highlighted in red are the ones that we used for these couple of test shots. And this was our pipeline that we were trying to go for. Everything in blue along the top is Alara, and it was on the cloud, and everything in red was things that we very briefly touched on offline. And we were able to do this because Alara works really well with the Google Cloud Storage. So it was so easy for all of the artists just to jump in and out of that and not have any issues at all. And this is actually tweaked later on, but I'll explain why. So this was our first shot that we did, just a very quick plates. This was done in about 5 to 6 days. And here was the concept for it. It was a very quick 2D concept done in Photoshop, which was offline. And then we uploaded this to the Google Cloud Storage so all the artists could access it. The shot was tracked in 3D Equalizer via Alara. And then the track layout was then transferred to Modo, once again via Alara. And the scene layout was then done in Alara as well via Modo. We then moved on to enhancing the textures in Mari, once again via Alara. So the initial kind of texture setup was done in Mari, and then we went offline. We exported all the textures out, and then via the Google Cloud Storage, the artist was then able to pick it up into Substance and do some extra tweaking and extra refining of the textures in Substance. And then we exported those maps out and then went back in again to Alara. We used Maya and Redshift to render, so we went offline for that. And then comped the whole thing in Nuke via Alara. So the whole thing was comped in Nuke on the Alara platform over like a day and a half. But all the artists at all the time had all access to the files, which was great. This was the second shot. It was a very, very quick head replacement that we did at 4K. This was the concepts for it in ZBrush. It's very quick concepts. We wanted this kind of fungal infection. We had a lot less days to kind of test this one out, unfortunately. But it was a very similar approach. We went to 3D Equalizer, tracked the corridor, the head, got it all match moved in 3D Equalizer on Alara, then laid out the scene in Modo with some very rough geo, once again on Alara. The texturing was done in Mari, just some very rough textures. And then we also used Nuke to texture as well. So Mari and Nuke were both used on Alara to do some texturing. As I'm sure you guys are aware, if you have a UDIM sequence, it's a Nuke can read that in really well, and you can do some fantastic procedural effects in Nuke. And then we took it back out to Maya again. This was on this bit. I think on this shot, this was the only time we went offline to go into Maya and Redshift to get everything lit and rendered. And then, I'm missing a slide. Oh, okay. I think. And then this shot was also comped in Nuke as well. Seems to be missing that slide. And that was done on Alara as well. So moving forward, we our test was to see if we could just run 2 shots really quickly through this platform, just to see if it would just work, quickly, easily, securely, and everyone had access to their files. How easy was everything to set up? And we found, in the last 3 weeks, it's just worked, fantastically well for us. And we're a startup company as well, so it was great to have this support from the Alara team at the Foundry. They were absolutely amazing at helping us out, and they were so welcome to feedback and just changing things and tweaking things. It was a very fruitful experience. And because of our last 3 weeks, our pipeline is already being tweaked and adjusted based on our experiences over these last 3 weeks of working on this hybrid workflow in Alara. So the image I showed you earlier, we've now been speaking to the team, Matt and his team at the Foundry, and we now have Katana with Redshift on Alara. So all of that rendering I was doing, that we were doing in Maya, we can now switch it over to Redshift in Katana. And we're also implementing Nuke Studio as well, so that we can have the editing process done via Alara as well, and be able to just open up all of the comps and the edits. And work like that. And we have Unreal Engine doing our previews, and Clarice is a potential thing we're looking out for layout as well. So this is our tweaked pipeline, but we're able to to add, to make these additions because of the Google Cloud Storage makes it very easy to access all these files. And I think Matt mentioned the file syncing system earlier as well. And so yeah, after these last 3 weeks, we're actually pushing forward on a feature film at the moment that we're doing all internally. And after our experiences with Alara, we want it to kind of be a bit of a first and get it all done on the cloud. So we're shooting on a Red or an Alexa Mini at the moment, but we want pre-prod and post all to be done at Inverse Normal using a GPU-based pipeline via Alara. So we're able to access all this talent anywhere through many of the contacts that we have, and get this film done pre-prod and post all using Alara. So that's where we're heading with this. And the last 3 weeks has shown that it actually works really, really well, and it's still in beta, which is so the prospects are great. Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Arvin. I just find the experience that Inverse Normal had, being able to work with applications that are running remotely and just get some amazing work done, operating really lean, is just such a tremendous advantage. And that's what Alara is all about. It's about allowing freelancers and small studios to have really lean architecture, really lean infrastructure, be able to work with distributed teams from people all around the world, and to have really flexible access to tools. These advantages are just, I think, really important, not just to folks like Arvin, but I think to a lot of people. So we're really excited to be working to provide that through Alara. Like I said before, Alara is in a kind of an early beta phase, so we're working very closely with a small number of people, but over the next few months, we'll be expanding the beta program, adding some more people over time. I'll talk in a minute about how you can get involved and possibly join the beta program. We're working on some really cool features. Security is a big one, so we're going to be working a lot on getting all of our cloud security tightened up, faster storage. We're working on integration with Shotgun. We're trying to make the desktop experience with Maya just really awesome. We're adding more applications and renders. We just have a whole lot of other stuff that we're adding over the next few months. Our goal is for the end of the year to be working with some people to kind of have a limited, like a small-scale commercial release, start fine-tuning our pricing, our business model, and we'll have it ready for all of you early next year. We're really looking forward to that, and we're really excited to be tracking towards something you guys can all use to, to run your projects and do things differently, and using the cloud to accelerate what you do best. I just want to say once again thank you to Google and Todd for saying for a great introduction to Google. So thanks everyone. Take advantage. Have a drink. If you want to know more about Alara, you're interested in getting news or updates, or you're interested in becoming a beta tester, the best place to go is alara.io. You'll have a link there to sign up to our interest list. We'll be surveying the interest list occasionally to expand the beta program. So if you're interested in that, please do sign up to the interest list. It's the best way. There's my email. Feel free to contact me directly. Or talk to your friends at Foundry, tell them to, get in touch, and definitely be happy to talk to you about what we're working on and how we can help. And that's it. Thank you so much for being here and listening, and have a drink. Enjoy.